Welcome to this neat video tutorial in which we're going to be looking at building a really good noise profile. Now it's important to say I'm working in Adobe After Effects, however the workflow is going to be the same regardless of whatever application you happen to be working in. So it's going to be the same in After Effects, Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro X, Avid Media Composer, Nuke, Fusion, Scratch, DaVinci Resolve, whatever you're going to be going through, the workflow is going to be exactly the same once you apply the effect. Obviously you apply effects differently in different applications, but that's the only real difference. So I'm going to apply it inside of After Effects. And we can look at the clip here and we can see that we've got a hugely noisy clip. You can actually go through it and you can see that it's lots and lots of visible noise. The clip is pretty much unusable, well it is definitely unusable without some kind of noise filtering. And the key to building a noise filter inside of Neat Video is to find an area in the shot which has got no features but lots of noise. Now if we look at this particular shot, you can see in the road down here there's no features particularly, but there's lots of noise. Again in the sky up here, no features, lots of noise. Now this shot might be ideal, but occasionally you're going to have shots which have got lots of small areas which are featureless and with lots of noise, but not big areas. So what we're going to demonstrate in this tutorial are three workflows. The first one is the fully automatic one where we apply Neat Video, we allow the auto settings to go and we work from there. The second one is where we turn around and say, do you know what, that doesn't quite work. The automatic settings don't work for me, I need to move them, to a different area, and that's going to be the semi-automatic one because we still use lots of automation tools inside of Neat Video, but what we're actually doing is we're deciding the area where we believe the most noise is visible. And the last one is for where we're really struggling to get a decent noise profile with the small areas that we've got, and how we can use fine tuning to add to the noise profile and eventually build a really good noise profile. Okay, so all I need to do is apply Neat Video, but I want to point out a problem in After Effects and in some other applications. Look at the bottom here and you'll see that I am actually showing a resolution of half at the moment. This clip itself is actually a 1920 by 1080 at 25 frames. However, I'm obviously showing it at half resolution because After Effects needed to speed up or whatever it is. So look what happens if I take the reduce noise plugin from Neat Video and I drop it onto the clip itself and I go over to the effects controls wherever they are on your application. You're going to find that there's going to be some kind of way of preparing a noise profile. So it could be a build noise profile button, it could be an icon. In After Effects you can see it's prepare, or actually you can just click the options button, will do the same thing. Okay, so you need to find the way of actually opening the interface, but when I click on that and I actually come down to the very bottom here, I want you to see frame is 960 by 540. In other words, it's half resolution. Now this is important. Neat Video needs to work on the full resolution clip. It can't work on a half resolution clip and give you a really good noise profile. It won't have as much data to actually grab the noise from to be able to build an accurate noise profile. So if you've actually done this and you know that the clip was 1920 by 1080 and you notice down here, I've got the wrong resolution, cancel out, go back into your application and choose full resolution. Then you can go back and find Neat Video, reduce noise 4 and click the prepare button, the build noise profile, the icon, and then you'll see down here, okay, look, we are now on a 1920 by 1080 clip. And so therefore I've got the maximum data to build the best noise profile I can. Now, I've got lots of different frames at the bottom so I can move backwards and forwards to try and find the right place where I can see maximum noise. And again, building a noise profile, it's about finding the best example of noise with no features behind it. So in the sky here, for example, there is no feature but lots and lots of noise. In the road down here, there's no features but there's lots and lots of noise. So what you're looking for is the noise that you can work with. If you were to take it around this wheel, there's loads and loads of features. So if I was to include the wheel in there and build a noise profile, it might take details from the wheel and try and build a profile to filter out the noise, which would end up creating something that would look just bizarre. So I could click between these various items. Incidentally, if you're hovering over them and you happen to have a mouse with a middle mouse wheel, if you scroll the middle mouse wheel, you'll see you can go backwards and forwards and get an idea of what's going on. Okay, so, and sometimes that's helpful. For example, notice down here, I've got a wheel and I've actually got a reflection going on, which you may not have noticed if you weren't actually going backwards and forwards. Actually, it might be the headlight shining down there. So maybe that's a bit of a feature, or certainly there's a slight difference, or there is definitely something going on, which might mean that it's not absolutely ideal to choose that particular square there. Anyway, the automatic mode, just here, click automatic profile, and it chooses an area that it thinks has got no discernible feature and a huge amount of visible noise. And really, you do want visible noise. You don't want a hugely bright area where the noise is clipped and you can't really see it, or a terribly dark area where the noise is almost invisible and again it might be lost. You want sort of mid-brights with plenty of visible noise. And it says here what the noise level is. Notice noise level 16.8, and the higher this figure, the more noise you're seeing. Now, of course, the advantage is, if you're down here again, I'm using my mouse wheel, I can go between various ones and see if I get a better shot. Now, that says 18.3. Question is, am I bringing in that strip? Let's just go between a few more. Can't use that one. That's 18. That's not got anything in it. Can't use those ones because of this white line. So I'm just going to go all the way back to the beginning. 16.8, 18.1. Okay, 18.1. Now, that's probably the highest number that I can have with certainty nothing's in there. Double check, hover over it, use the middle mouse wheel again, and it will zoom into the automatic profile area. And you can see, yeah, that's just no features underneath it, plenty of visible noise. We've got the highest noise level possible, and it was different, if you notice, between one frame and the next. So 17.3 and 18.1. I'm definitely going to go for the 18.1. I've got a great area, lots of visible noise. I can zoom out again with my mouse. Over on this side, I've got a quality rating. It says it thinks it's about a 70% quality or 70% choice, so you're going to get a good result from the noise that you've chosen. Anything above 60 is great, but even if it's very low, don't panic about that, because the other workflows we're going to show you will really help you build a great noise profile with even a very low quality showing. This is just an indication, and 9 times out of 10, actually, this is all you're ever going to need to do. The other workflows are for when it's slightly harder to get a good noise profile. And up here you can see, again, we've got indications of the clip itself, and just make sure that that does actually match your clip so that you haven't got it on half resolution or something. Now, at this point, because I have been changing frames, I have actually moved from a fully automatic function to a semi-automatic function. Now, a fully automatic function was when I clicked the auto profile button, it chose an area and I said, yep, check the noise, filter settings and applied go. But because I've actually changed the frame selection, Neat Video is using the original frame still until I tell it I'm using a new frame. And so to tell it I'm using the new frame, even though this is now blue, I still need to tell it I'm on a different frame than the one I originally started on, so I must go back and click the auto profile button again. Then at this point, I can go into the noise filter settings. And you can check how things are, and as before, if we want to increase the filtering, under the temporal settings we can increase the radius. Now you can see at the moment it's looking at the present frame and the 2 frames before and the 2 frames after, and you can increase that to 3, so it's 3 frames before the present frame and the frame after, 4 and then 5, so you can see it's 5 before, present frame, 5 after, and it does make a difference. You can see that as you go up, and if I go back, if you click this item here, that resets it back to its default settings. That's 2, and if I take it back up to 5, you can see that that has made a difference, but I'm going to reset it at the moment. But if we want to make additional changes at that point, after changing the temporal settings, we will go to the spatial settings, and if we really want to make a difference, we can increase the luminance, perhaps up to 50%, or even 60 if we really feel we need to. But do bear in mind, there is a possibility that you could increase smoothing if that happens, in which case you want to talk about sharpening, which we'll talk about later. So I'm going to reset both of those, and I'm looking at the filtered results. Now, if you want to see the original, you can click in the window itself and hold, that's the original, and then the filtered, so you can see the difference it makes. And if you want a permanent original view, you can click over here, and then you can click variant, and you can even click and drag a window, which you can then move around to see how the filtering works in different areas of your shot. Now, if I was happy with the end result, all I would need to do now is click the apply button. But because I want to show you how to build a semi-automatic device noise profile, I'm going to click back on the device noise profile tab.